go high level stuff is go high level. It's exciting times.
Oh,
I was
how
almost
much time?
so close to being certified. There's like a handful of things I need to get a little bit clearer on. Oh yeah, we're live. Look at that. Boom.
Wow. There's so many things we wanted to talk about today.
It's so many, but we had to narrow it down to one.
So we try to narrow it down to one. That doesn't usually work for us, but uh, we were fighting over, not fighting, but
We can
deciding
fight.
we can fight. We can fight if we want to. We can leave our friends on. Now, so the thought was if what one technique is the most important, which there's so many, it's really what the technique, what's the most important to you is whatever your need is, really. Basically, everybody has a different map of the world in what is important to you. So we kind of fought on two. One was the well-formed outcome. I think that's a really important one, and also reframing. Maybe we'll stick them together because reframing. Okay,
Okay, so we can start with the well-formed outcome. There's 7 or 8 steps depending on what model you look up online, but we're just going to go with 8 steps right here,
okay,
and I'll just rattle them off to you, and
yeah,
then you can go ahead and give me your breakdown, right? And then I'll go ahead and add some stuff, and then we'll just move from there.
yeah.
And
Let's
again, this is probably the most powerful, we'll say framework. It's not really one NLP technique. This is probably like the one NLP framework you can use to get whatever it is you want in life. So we'll start with number one, and it has a part A to it. So basically, what do you want, and what will that do for you?
right. And so when you're doing that, what would you want? Okay, you whatever it is, and then to break it down, and like it said, is what would that do for you? And then you say, let's just give an example of money. If you ask Tony Robbins, I want more money, he'd throw a quarter at you and say, there's you some more money. And you say, well, I need more money than that. He says, well, you need to be more specific if you're going to do that. Okay, but then it's not money because money is just paper and coins. Okay, that's just money. But what will that money do for you? And somebody might say, well, I want to buy a new house with that money. Okay. And so, what would that new house do for you? Because we're going to break it down with the meta model, breaking it down. What would that do for you? Because we want to know if it's really what you want or you just think it's what you want. Okay. So, what would that money do for you? Well, I'd have a house. Okay. Why would you need the house? Well, I would need that house for my family so we could be a happier and we could have a better life. What would that do for you? Well, it'd make my kids happier, it'd make me happier. And then you keep on breaking that down till they get to the bottom and they don't come up with anything else because that's breaking the belief down of what they want. Because a lot of times people think they want something, and when they get there, it's not what they wanted at all. And a lot of times when people come in for our help, they say this is the problem, and 90% of the time, it's not the problem. It's just one aspect of the problem, and there's a deeper thing that's beneath that that we have to address before we can address that issue. Okay, so now we've got that. That's basically the first step.
You got it? Perfect.
Well, yeah,
So
go
once
ahead.
again, what do you want, and what will that do for you? And then the next thing is, now that we've analyzed exactly what you want, and did you cover basically you don't want to say something like you want to be very clear about what the goal is, but the next thing is how do you know when you have it? So that basically will help you cover on how to be really clear. So if you were like, oh, I just want the world to be happy, and then it was like, well, how do you know when the world's happy? But if you say something like, oh, I want that car, then you'll know when you have that car when you're in the car. So the second part of the question, or the second step in the well-formed outcome, is how will you know when you have it?
Okay, so let's go into that a little bit. So when you say I want to be happy, that's a nominalization that you can't stick in a wheelbarrow. So basically, everyone will have a different meaning of what happiness is to them. So when you say that, and so if you did say I want to be happy, then you would write out what is it going to do to make you happy, and how will you know when you got that? It might be, well, when I get a new car, okay, that's pursuing happiness. When you get a new car, you'll be happy, but you'll only be happy to a certain extent until that new car smell and everything goes away. Now a lot of times humans are not complacent, so they will want they they will want something, a better car next time. I want a better car. I want a bigger house. I want a different relationship. I want ever. This is a pursuit of happiness, okay? Not that you won't be a little bit happier when you get it. It's just on the way you want to do small little increments of goals to get there. So uh,
Yeah, so
basically,
with that in mind, you want to make sure that you set really large goals, right? So what is the saying? Like if you shoot for the stars but land on the moon, you'll still be satisfied, right? And then setting those little small goals along the way is what keeps you moving, like that you have that little bit of success and that you're able to, measure where you were to where you're at now and then realize that there has been progress, or if there hasn't been progress, at least you have the data to go back, analyze what you did, what didn't work, and then, find other ways to get to where you're going. So you want to make sure to keep that in mind. um, did you wrap up on number
let's
two?
just write it down. Let's just go a little bit. Take all the
Yeah.
notes you can to understand where you're trying to go. So you where you're at now and where you're going to go. So you have that in place. So then you'll know your increments of how far you're going at all the time. So yeah, I think that kind of sums that up.
Okay. And then the second thing, or the third question of the well-formed outcome is, can it be initiated and maintained by you? So basically, I like to use this example a lot. If you say you're something like, I'll be happy when my boss gives me a raise. Well, that's not really putting the power of your happiness inside of you. It's putting the power of your happiness on your boss, right? And then you have no control whether or not your boss gets a raise, because there's many things out here in the atmosphere that could happen. Your boss could, get fired or get promoted and no longer in charge of you. No, and then you'd have to, like, suck up to the next boss, and that might be a different person type thing. But if you go ahead and have that goal that's initiated and maintained by you, then there's no accountability onto somebody else. You take on all the accountability and therefore can benefit from all the fruits of your labor.
And sometimes you find out that can you do it alone is sometimes you can't. So you go find the person
Well,
or
that's
the
the next one, or
oh,
that's a little bit further down. But yeah, can it be
okay.
initiated and maintained by you?
Okay. Okay. So let's go over that. What's the I'm
Well,
confused.
the part where is like, well, I don't want to skip number
Yeah.
four, but basically you want to make sure that your goal is obtainable by you. You're not
Okay.
relying on somebody
Also,
else
yeah,
for you to for you to
right.
complete that goal.
Okay. Also, right there with that said, it's basically can it be done by you? I mean, if it's out of your reach and you can't grab it, and then you can't do it alone.
So
So you have
with
to.
that in mind, it goes into where, when, and with whom do you want it? See, that's the part where we start to look for other
Okay.
people, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. Basically, whatever your goal may be, maybe you want to become a millionaire. Yet, how does that happen, right? When and where and whom do you want it to be with, right? So basically, even if you went around and tried to shake everybody's hand in the world, you wouldn't be able to do that. So at that point, you'd probably have to hire some people to start shaking some hands, right? So and again, like if you set a date, that'll get you geared up and moving faster, right? If there's no date out there, then there's no, sense of urgency, right? So how bad do you want this to happen, and when do you want it to happen by? And then if you can't get it to happen by a certain date, right? Who would you want to gather around you to get it done by a certain date, which is part five. But again, where, when, and whom do you want it with?
Okay.
Now you ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's go to the next.
Next one, number five. I know Jeff was eager about this 2 steps ago, but we're into it now. What resources do you need to achieve the desired outcome? What do you already have? What do you need to acquire? And how do you go about getting what you need?
So there's your plan. It's basically if you have all your resources and you don't need anybody's help, then you're probably good to go. And yet, there's a lot of times when you need more education of how to, like if you're starting a new company, sometimes you have to put on that different hat. And do you have to learn that or do you already have it? So a lot of times, like you or Scott or me, we have to learn finances. We have to learn how to write checks, get people paid. We have to be able to tell people, to hire people and which people to hire. So there's a lot to go in that. So you might need help, with a secretary or by yourself, or you're going to run the whole company. Now, Scott and I run the whole company pretty much, and then we get people to help us when we don't have all the resources. So, do you have all the resources you need? That's one question. Do you need to learn something else to get your thing, and how long was that going to take on your remember you have your begin date and when do you want to achieve your goal? And so you write that out, and sometimes just like on a boat or a plane you have to adjust, go one way, right or left, to go forward. So, but what we say here is, well, keep your wheels in motion. Even if you go the wrong way, you can get back in where you need to go while going towards your goals.
Yeah, and I find out a lot of people aren't as resourceful or know that they have as many resources. They might already have a lot of things already in their possession that they're not utilizing. So if you find yourself basically looking towards all the negatives, then you're going to be able to find it. Yet if you start looking and opening up your mind to more of what is around you, somebody who, so how resourceful can you be, right? It's kind of like, well, there is a library there. I mean, have you gone to it, right? You have the world of the internet at your fingertips. Well, how resourceful can you be? Now, with that in mind, what desire do you have? Maybe looking inside and finding out that drive is something that you need to require, and that has nothing to do with monetary. That has to do with mindset. Yeah, maybe your mindset needs to change, and then once you change your mindset, then you're able to elevate your consciousness, and then you'll be able to talk or find or frequent with other people that are at a higher consciousness level. And then once you understand that, then you can start to gather a team. This is basically how my growth has kind of been, like where I had to build my company to begin with and not realize, at least I had my mindset. And when I was able to build my company, then I was able to talk to other people that have already kind of gone through that growth stage. And then it was easier to talk to people that were at a higher, we'll say, consciousness level. So with that in mind, don't be a Debbie Downer. Always look to the positive, and then you'll be able to find it. Because if you're not looking for it, you won't be able to find it. Now, the next step, number six, is it ecological? So basically, what would you have to lose in order to achieve this outcome, and would you be able to maintain it? And would the gains outweigh the loss?
There you go. Is it ecological
Yeah.
friendly?
Is it ecological?
I think that's the harder one to figure out, because when you get there, you won't know that till you get there. So, but you can plan to say, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And you've got your list, and what's it going to take? And then again, you can always, you know, work on getting some help from somebody else to get that, to achieve the next step wherever you're at.
So yeah, that's like one of the basic things, right? So you would want to find somebody who's already done what you're looking to do and find out what kind of mindset you need to change and what that person did in order to get there, right? So maybe it's not going to be the exact path that you're going to be able to take, yet at the same time, a lot of things have already been kind of
Right.
accomplished and you can learn from those experiences.
Right.
And when it comes to being ecological, right? So I use this example a lot because it's one of the ones I used in one of my classes on me was basically if you wanted a boat, right? Oh, I want a boat. That's so exciting. And then you go and you get the boat and then not realize, oh, geez, I gotta maintain this thing. Oh, I got to have extra insurance on this thing. It's kind of costly to keep up. I got to have a dock for it. And then it was just a funny saying that one of my friends had said when we were at the dinner table a couple weeks ago. He said, "Oh, there's the best 2 days of owning a boat." And he goes, the day you buy it and the day you sell it. And I looked at that. And I had already used this boat example, I don't know, a couple hundred times. And then I was like, that makes sense. So again, let's not get too far off track here, but basically number six is it ecological? Does it work? What will you lose? Can you maintain it? Is the outcome worth what you're chasing in the long run? And who knows? And it's okay to like change your view as you start to learn more things because that'll happen as well. When you start to realize how hard one thing is, or maybe you're not enjoying one aspect as much, and then you can't find somebody to go do that for you. You can't hire them to do it, and you have to do it. And then you'll just say, well, is it worth the getting through this pain point? Or maybe I'd be better off doing something else. And that's okay too.
Right. And that comes back to the first thing we did was why do you want it and what will it do for you? And when you find out it's not going to do what you thought it was going to do,
Yeah.
is it really worth doing? So that's why that first step is really important because like I said before is that a lot of people believe they want something but they really don't want what they think they want. They want something else. So that's why you really want to break it down, get it to the gritty that what you are really looking for. And
Make
on
sure
the
you write all
way,
these things
and
down.
on
Yeah.
the way, on the way, like you just said, you can change your belief on what this thing is. And that's where we go in with the boat or the plane, where sometimes we have to adjust. Is this really what we want? And on the way, sometimes we have to find new resources that we didn't know we needed. So it's all a learning experience getting to where you want to go. And then at the end, is it going to be ecological for you to keep it and maintain it? And is it really what you thought it was at the beginning? So, and after you do these several times, you'll get more accustomed to this little technique, and it'll get a lot easier because you can do this on most anything you're wanting. So go ahead. What's our next step?
Well, we got two steps left, right? Yeah, two steps. What stops you from having your desired outcome already? I'll let you take this one.
Okay, so why, if you want something already, why don't you have it? I mean, you say you want it, but why haven't you got it? So now you have to figure out the questions. One, is it the resources? Is it the motivation? Is it the skill level that you need to learn something else? So what we want to do is assess why we haven't and done it already. And maybe it's just you never made up your mind or it wasn't important enough. A lot of times we'll do a SUDS level on the pain level
Oh,
of what
what's suds?
it's a distress level in your life. What on the scale of 0 to 10, what would this pain level be? Like, because you don't have this goal that you're trying to achieve, what pain level is. It might be a 3, but it might be an 8, and it could be a 10. So where is it in your scale level? Because if you don't want a goal bad enough, you're going to probably peter out on it about halfway in. So if you only got a 5, I say you've got a 50-50 chance and maybe even less. But if you got an 8 or a 9 or a 10 belief that the pain is worse, if I don't do it, then you're probably going to achieve it. So you really want to find out, is it, how important to you is it to get this goal? A lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people say I want something, but they don't want it bad enough. It's sort of like when we help people to achieve a goal or to anything in life. If they don't like even quit smoking or anything, if or somebody else told them what they needed, this is somebody else's plan. It's not theirs. Okay, somebody said you should do this, and now they're doing it because someone told them. But if you don't want to do it, you probably won't maintain it. So if it's somebody else telling you you need to achieve something, unless you decide you do on the scale of probably having an 8 or more, you're probably not going to achieve your goal. And not that it couldn't just fall in your lap accidentally, yet most of the stuff in our lives, if we don't give, this is a serious thing. If you don't give time, money, or effort to something, then you don't appreciate it. So, are you going to appreciate whatever you got at the end? And if you do, with that appreciation, you usually work harder for it.
Well,
That's,
there you have it.
yeah,
We got one more. You ready?
yes.
What's the first small step you could take?
What's that?
That's the last step. That's the last thing in the well-formed
Yeah.
document.
So what's that first step that you can take to get there? I would still start with the be thinking on your the first step is basically figuring out what you want, and then what's that small step you can do, and then you write out your goals to do it every day. What thing can I do today? And then as you get more momentum, what 3 things and 6 things can I do today to achieve my goal? And write it down. If you write the 6 most important things each and every day to get where you want to go, it'll be easier for you, and you'll have more of a constant work ethic going forward.
And there you have it. That's pretty much all the time I have for right now because I got another call to hop on. And that's basically the well-formed outcome brought to you by yours truly in Tharpo, the happiness coach. Guys, if you need any help with this or want to continue this further, make sure to visit the website, drop a comment down below, and we will catch you on the next one. Alrighty. Till the next time. Thanks, guys.
Woohoo! Be happy.